Yo, let me tell you something insane, brother. This is really insane. Even me, I'm still constantly learning. I mean, who the heck am I after all, right? You always have to get back to the present moments, man. You always have to get back into being a Muslim, man. Being a Muslim is not just something you do and then you're like, I identify as a Muslim, and then that's it. It's like, oh, look at me, guys, I'm a Muslim. You constantly, every single moment, you have to become a Muslim. This is why this religion is so powerful. But we're forgetting that it's this powerful because you're living through the dunya, right? You live through the dunya. Things happen and you keep reacting to things. That's the issue. Things happen on the outside and you keep reacting to things. What if I told you right now, if you just get back to the present moment and you get back into stillness and you relax and you surrender to Allah, you get back into creator mode. This is extremely powerful. Extremely powerful, because most of the time what's happening is that things happen on the outside, you get triggered, and you think of the past, you think of the future, you think of the past and you think of the future. Even me right now, when I'm saying you go back to creator mode, I know a lot of you guys are going to be thinking, shirk, like bid'ah, don't listen to this guy, and you get into trigger mode. What's happening in that moment is that you're not submitting anymore. Habibi, you're not submitting anymore. You always, oh man, bro, this is so powerful. This is actually so powerful. You always have to get back into surrender. Like even me talking about it, that's why I love talking about this, because it puts me back. I'm trying to fix my tripod right here. It puts me back into like knowing what the reality is. The reality is that you always have to get back into surrender mode. You always have to get back into like submit to Allah. Submit to Allah. In every breath, you're submitting to Allah. Let me fix this actually, because if my wife sees that I'm recording with these with these towels here, she's gonna be like, why are these towels right here? So that's the thing. You always have to get back into being in the present moment. You always have to get back into submitting to Allah. Like you realize this is the entire path. The entire path is just you always submitting back to Allah. Like, isn't that insane? In every moment, ask yourself, am I submitted to Allah right now? In every moment, even as you're hearing me right now, are you submitted to Allah? And how do you know if you're submitted to Allah? If you have tension on your muscle, if you're feeling like there's tension on your muscle, then you're not submitted. Then you're thinking of the past, because understand that your body is a manifestation of the mind, right? So if the mind is stuck in the past or stuck in the future, the body is going to be reacting to that. Seeing if the wife is here. So if the body is reacting to that, like when things are happening in the mind, the body is reacting to that, which means that if you're looking at your body right now and you have tension on your body, then understand you're not in the present moment, which means that you're not submitting to Allah, which means you're not in creator mode. You're basically in reacting mode. You're just reacting to what the ego is creating. Why do you think Allah says whatever that happens to you in your life that is bad is from your own self? Because the self automatically creates bad. That's the thing. The self is always creating bad. But the real you is not creating bad. The real you is always creating good, because the real you is the one that's connected to Allah. The real you is the one. You'll only be able to find the real you once you've surrendered, once you've submitted. This is the entire path. And by the way, you don't have to like identify as a Muslim for you to see this. Most rich people, the ones that have gotten rich in the halal sense, most of them understood this. Most of them understood that if I just submit my will to the creator that's already running this world, then that's it. I gain abundance. You know what? It's not even that you gain abundance. You see abundance. You re-see the abundance, because the abundance is always here. Like, this is why I love talking about this, because it's such a beautiful reminder, not just to you, but to me as well. Such a beautiful reminder that abundance is always here. But the only reason why you don't see it is because you stray away from the flow of the creator when the ego comes and thinks that, oh dang, well I gotta take care of things by my own hands. But you don't have to take care of things in your own hands. You have to let Allah take care of things. That's why even the book Reality Transurfing, there's inner intention and outer intention. Inner intention can't do anything, man. Inner intention is weak. Inner intention is limited. Outer intention is the one that's infinite. And outer intention is what Allah is. That's who Allah is. So in reality transurfing, when they're talking about that, they're referring to the outer intention as Allah, as the God, as the creator. They're not gonna say Allah, obviously, right? But that's who the outer intention is. And Allah plans, you plan, and Allah plans. And Allah's plan is always the best plan. So that's the thing. Why do you think istighfar works? Why do you think istighfar works? Because istighfar fixes up all your past miscreation. Because the ego, when the ego is running the show, the ego doesn't know how to create infinity. The ego is always in lack. The ego is always stuck in the past. The ego is always disbelieving in Allah. So the ego is always going to be creating misfortune. The ego is always going to be creating depression. It's always going to be creating lack, poverty. But then when you get past the ego, by submitting yourself, submit yourself. And when you submit, how do you know you're submitted? Once again, the body, but also notice, like, is your attention on the past? Are you triggered? Are you annoyed? Are you angered? Are you trying to like control things? Let things be. Let things be. The real you allows everything to be. Allah is al-wasi'. Allah is al-wasi', which means Allah allows everything. So just allow everything to be for a bit. So just relax. Relax, Habibi. Relax, brother. Relax, sister. And then look at the world outside you. Understand this came because of you. But that's okay. Just allow it to all to be. Allow it to be. And then when you're relaxing and you're submitting yourself back to Allah, once you've achieved relaxation mode, surrender mode, submission mode, Islam mode, now you can get back to Allah and just ask. Ask, what do you want? And so when you ask, so for example, you can ask like, Allah, how do I make $1 million? How can I start making $1 million? What action do I need to take to start making $1 million? Randomly, Allah's going to put inspiration in you. And all you'll have to do after that is just trust the inspiration. That's all you'll have to do. And Habibi, it doesn't matter whether that inspiration is to pull out the camera and start talking, or it's to pull out the computer and start searching, or it's to pick up the phone and start calling, or it's to like get out of the house and maybe drive somewhere in a destination that you've never thought, or to just basically take like a purposeless walk. It doesn't matter what that is. When you start doing more things out of inspiration, and you already know all these inspiration, like there's something that's always nagging you. Do this, do this, do this, you have to do this. And I'm not saying the psychopathic thoughts, by the way. Not the psychopathic ones. The ones that are good, it's like, you need to do this, you need to do this. And I know this because for me personally too, I've always thought, like back before I started my business, I always knew, I'm like, you need to like, just start the business. And I'm like, I know I need to do it. And then once you go and you start just moving things into the world, just moving molecules in the world, the path unfolds. And that's what Rumi said. Rumi just said, he's like, bro, don't worry about anything. Just start moving and the path is going to unfold. But you can never start moving before you submit to Allah. You can never start moving before you surrender to Allah. That's how procrastination happens. The only reason why you're procrastinating is because you're not connected to Allah. Like, take that in for a bit. The only reason why you're procrastinating is because you are not connected to Allah. Once you connect to Allah, procrastination disappears. Because when you work through inspiration, there is no procrastination. And that's beautiful, man. So always ask yourself, these videos, I'm making them as a reminder. Because a reminder is beautiful. What better reminder than to remind people to submit back to Allah, than to surrender to Allah. Allah. That's so beautiful, man. So just ask yourself right now, look at the muscles in your body. If they're tensed, that means you're doing something, you're thinking something that goes against the nature of Allah. Because if you are truly putting your attention on Allah, that means every muscle in your body knows who Allah is, right? So every muscle in your body is getting relaxed because they're like, oh wow, we're back to the Creator. That's why when you do the dhabiha, like the animal, when you recite the name of Allah on it, it relaxes because it's like, oh, Allah is here. Yeah, Allah is here. Then it just relaxes because it knows the Creator is here. So that's what you have to do too. Allah is here, bro. Habib, Allah's always been here. Focus on your breath for a bit. Realize Allah's always been here. That's so beautiful. Like, this is going to open up so much beauty in life. So much beauty in your world. Do you realize like why I call it effortless rizq? Because it truly is just so effortless. The more you put effort, the more that you get no results. when you just sit and relax, and you just let go and you focus on the breath, and you just be, eventually something's going to come into your mind. And then that's when you go and you attack ferociously. You work ferociously. You start to do things ferociously, like a lion. A lion spends 80% of the day just sitting down, relaxed, doing nothing, no stimulation, sitting, watching. And then ferociously he goes and attacks. And that's what you need to do too, man. Just put back your presence, your attention on the breath, and that's it. That's literally it. SubhanAllah, man. This makes you realize how beautiful the world that Allah has created is. All is always well. If this was helpful, man, just let me know.